I'm really excited to introduce my second guest on Never Give Up. Now, I met Josh earlier this year at the Tour Down Under, and he is a larger-than-life character who has this great personality, this great perspective on life, but he went through something really, really tough about 9 years ago. He'll explain more, and I share his story with people all the time, and then I thought he needs to share his story with people. So, without me saying anything else, meet Josh.
Hi.
Hey Josh.
How are you?
Good. How was that for an introduction?
Not bad, hey? You gave me a big, larger-than-life look. That's fantastic. I like to be a bit larger.
Well, you are. Like, you've got this great personality, this great outlook on life, and just the way that you get out there and live life when that might not have always been possible for you.
No, look, I've spoken to you about this obviously before, but about 9 years ago, unfortunately, I developed diabetes too. And sadly, I also weighed about 160 kegs, which was a hell of a lot. With that, I wound up going to the doctor, and the doctor turned around and said to me, look, said, how old are your kids? I said, oh, about 16, 11. He said, go home and say goodbye to them. He said, sorry? He said, mate, he said, you've got diabetes too, you smoke 40 a day, you drink like an alcoholic, your blood pressure's through the roof, your cholesterol's through the roof, you've got everything aiming towards a short life. I reckon you got 2 years before you're dead. And I went, wow, okay, that's a bit different, because like, you know, most doctors you go to, you need to give up smoking, mate. It's always touchy-feely, but this one was straight to the point. You know, do something about your life or die. And I sort of looked at him and he said, look, first thing you can do to change this around is give up smoking. And I went, oh, okay, I'll do that then. And I walked out of there and never smoked again.
Really? So you just quit?
Quit.
Just like that?
Like that, 4 days it took me to quit. So I walked out, never smoked again. For 4 days, I had the little fella sitting on my shoulder going, have a cigarette, have a cigarette. And I was like, no, I'm not going to have a cigarette. Because eventually, my mind had got to a position of, you're not going to smoke again. And that's the difficult part of giving up smoking, is just being affirmative and saying, I'm not going to do it again. With that, it took me 4 days. So a lifelong smoker, it's 40 a day for 40 years. I thought, I'm never going to give up smoking. It's never going to happen. And 4 days it took me to give up smoking. So
it's the power of the mind, though, doesn't it?
Does. You know, it's quite interesting, you know, how you can be when you look at it and you say the only good thing about a cigarette is the desire it gives you for another cigarette. So, you know, it was a totally different outlook, and I was able to give up cigarettes straight away. So that was the first step. Second step was then, you know, I was driving around with the family. I'm looking at all these guys on their bikes and I think, that looks sort of fun. You know, I used to ride a bike a lot when I was a kid. Maybe I could do that. So I went into a shop and this guy in the shop's trying to sell me a $9,000 bike, and I'm thinking, why do I want that? You know, I've not even tried this sport out. I don't know how I'm going to be. You know, $9,000 bike, come on mate, pull your head in. So I went around to a few stores, and then I walked into a store and this guy said to me, he said, you weigh a bit, don't you? And I said, yeah. He said, that steel frame bike over there that worth about $500, that's the one for you. And I'm looking at all the sexy bikes going, I want a sexy bike. And he's going, nah. He's like, you need to drop some weight fast. And if you don't go on that bike, everything else is going to break underneath your weight. You know, all the spokes will go, you won't enjoy it. So I got a steel frame bike. So I got on the steel frame bike, I rode to the end of the street. Absolutely knackered.
Really?
Yeah. So the end of the street was like 500 metres. And I was thinking, holy hell, you know, not only, you know, somebody's telling you you're going to die, but cigarettes are costing you, you know, you're unfit, you know, so on and so forth. What are you going to do? So I got determined. And 500 metres turned into a kilometre, and a kilometre turned into 2 kilometres. Then I was halfway to the beach. Then I was all the way to the beach. Then a mate of mine here, Tom, came out with me and he encouraged me. So we got on the bike, we started riding around down to Glenelg, eventually to Brighton, then eventually to Outer Harbour, and it grew and it grew and it grew. I had a crew from New Zealand, really good mates of mine who come over for the Tour Down Under every year, and they are the most inspiring people all the time. You know, constantly either on Strava or on Facebook coming back and saying really good positive things. And the cycling community is a really positive thing.
Yeah, it's really supportive, isn't it? Like,
Even on Strava.
Yeah.
Like, Strava's fantastic. I've got friends all over the world who connect to me on Strava. I've even got 10 friends in Nigeria. How's that? I never even knew anybody in Nigeria. Now they're everywhere. It's fantastic. So the cycling community is really good, encouraging. I've dropped 40 kilos, which is good. With that, no smoking, tick. Blood pressure, tick. Cholesterol, tick. You know, it's amazing what benefits you get out of actually exercise, and cycling's my thing. So now I cycle up to 5,000 kilometres a year, and it's enjoyable. I look forward to the tour when the boys come over. We do about 500 in the week, and it's a great thing.
And here you are, 9 years later, after you were told basically go home and say goodbye to your kids, you're not going to be around. You made all these changes, and here you are. Like, life's a gift for you now, isn't it?
That's fun, yeah. I enjoy it. I get up in the morning, I get on my bike, off I go at the weekends, and you know, I feel as though I've done something with my day. Just whack the tunes in, away we go.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's about all those sort of balances in life, and I know that I'm going to be here for a bit longer yet.
Yeah. And so how did you, with your mind, and you talk about the little, you know, on your shoulder saying disagree or whatever, you know, and you've done 500 metres and you're puffing and it's like, oh, you know, what is it inside you? What keeps you going? Like, you know, you obviously have low moments.
Yeah, you do have low moments.
How do you get through those?
Determination to change, number one, is good. I hate a headwind. You know, unfortunately, I'm 52 inches across the shoulders, and that's not going to change because that's bone to bone. So, as a mate of mine once again says, you know, I'm a bit of a spinnaker. So, you know, I get into the wind, and boy, it gets really draining, especially when people are going past me at 30, 40 kilometres an hour. I just think, why am I here? But yeah, it's that determination to get back to your end point and feel good about it. You know, I once rode to Goolwa, which was 140 kilometres round trip. Got out to Goolwa, had a fantastic run out there, turned around and the wind changed. So I was into a headwind all the way back. All the way back, there's a little fella on my shoulder going, get on the train, phone a friend, do anything, don't ride back. And by the end I did it, 140 clicks, the round trip.
Yeah, wow.
And I felt really good about it once I got home.
Yeah. And you wear lycra. Now this is what I love about you, is like so many people go, I don't want to wear lycra because I don't have the figure for it or I feel self-conscious. But you proudly wear lycra.
I do, yeah, I do proudly wear lycra. You know, if you're going to be a cyclist, you've got to wear the gear. It was a bit hard at first. Initially, I went down to the local shop, bought a pair of cycling shorts, and it wasn't a good look. You know, I have to say, particularly from people behind me, as unfortunately it tended to roll down a bit. So, you know, eventually had to get a bib, and that was much better looking for the part. There's a company in the UK called Fat Lad at the Back, who makes quality clothes for plus sizes. So again, I was able to get into cycling gear because, you know, most of the cycling gear finishes at 38, 40 inches across the shoulders and you're done, you can't wear it. So you do have to go hunt on the internet. Fat Lad at the Back again, 2 weeks, delivery here to Adelaide. This is one of their tops, which is covered in pies. So it's a bit of a novelty. They've got another one covered in hot dogs, but then they also have normal things and normal clothes and, you know, Australian flags and all that sort of stuff. The one thing about it though is it's absolutely made for the bigger size to give it a little bit more room, and you know, it fits. So I feel like I'm the part, you know?
And I just have to show everybody this, actually, on the back of it. This is, look at this. Powered by pie. Yeah, tell us a bit about that.
So, you know, I spent 15 years in England as a chef there. Also lived in New Zealand for 5 or 6 years. In Christchurch was also a good experience. And then back here to Adelaide, but also travelling around the world as well. So exposed to a lot of things, you know, which is fantastic. The biggest thing, I suppose, from this point of view was that in London my weight was sort of pretty well under control because it was pointless having a car because it cost you 250 quid to park it outside your house. So you don't have a car, you walk everywhere, you're up and down the tubes, you're carrying your stuff back from Sainsbury's, from the supermarket, you're doing plenty of exercise so you don't notice it. I thought when I came back to Australia that I would have a healthier lifestyle, but unfortunately when I got back here, you just walk from your front door to the car. Right? And that's it. You know, you drive everywhere. You know, you drive your kids down to the beach and they go into the surf and do their thing while you sit there and watch them and make sure that they're healthy and they're not drowning or anything else like that. On the way back, if they have an ice cream, you have an ice cream. You know, it's not so good. So once again, you know, this is now about doing healthier options. Now, I suppose, in essence, the key is changing your mind to concentrate on wellness rather than illness.